and thank you for joining us for the Edmonds Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan meeting. We will wait a few minutes for people who are still trying to log on to the meeting. When joining the meeting, you have been automatically put on mute and you cannot unmute yourself. This helps to ensure that the meeting runs smoothly without unexpected background interruptions. We will use the question and answer button at the bottom of your screen. If you have called in, you will be able to participate by using *9 to raise your hand. If you would like to make a comment or ask a question, please use the question and answer feature at the bottom of your screen, noted by the letters Q&A. Click on the Q&A icon and type your question into the box. We will answer questions during the question and answer sessions in the presentation. If you are calling in by phone, there will be an opportunity to verbally ask your questions during the question and answer session. If you would like to listen to the webinar in Korean, Mandarin, or Spanish, please click on the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen and select the language you want to hear. An interpreter will be there. I would now like to turn the meeting over to Angie Fessler, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services for the City of Edmonds, who I know is very excited for this meeting and to hear everyone's input.
Good evening, and thank you, Tammy Lee. Again, my name is Angie Fessler, and I'm the Department Director. And on behalf of the City of Edmonds, I would like to sincerely thank you for joining this evening. We look forward to hearing your thoughts about the future of Edmond parks and recreation programs. Tonight's presentation is the city's first multi-language community meeting. And I would like to especially welcome our Mandarin, Spanish, and Korean-speaking community members. And with that, we'll get started. Here's a look at tonight's agenda. We'll start with a brief presentation to share some information about Edmonds Parks and Recreation. We will use live polling questions during the presentation to get your feedback. And we will use the Q&A function for you to share additional information. We will end the meeting with some information about next steps for the project and how you can stay involved. As a reminder, we are conducting this meeting in 3 other languages, so I will occasionally pause to give time for the interpreters to translate as we go. And also, just as a note, this meeting is being recorded for documentation, but is not intended for broadcast. What is a Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, or PROS, plan for short? The PROS plan is a 6-year guide for helping the city manage and improve its parks, recreation programs, and other outdoor experiences. The plan looks to the future and will establish goals, identify specific projects and ideas on how to implement projects for the next 6 to 10 years. At the core, the PROS plan is guided by a few basic questions. What are the city's strengths and areas for improvements? How will the city meet today's park and recreation needs and in the future? And what should the city focus on? We're not creating the new PROS plan in isolation. We are building on Edmonds' tradition of community-based planning, including the Community Cultural Plan, the Climate Action Plan, Transportation Plan, as well as the Highway 99 Plan. The project timeline spans about 9 months, and we anticipate the first draft of the new PROS plan before the end of the year, with review by the City Council early next year. The city is making a significant effort to hear from the Edmonds community through a broad COVID-sensitive approach. This includes a community survey in 4 languages, tonight's virtual meeting also in 4 languages, attending local events like the farmers and uptown evening markets to share information, and through a few group discussions with recreation program users and city partners. I'm sure you're here tonight, you have a favorite spot to visit in Edmonds, but did you know that Edmonds provides 47 parks across the city with more than 230 acres of parks and open space? It operates numerous sports fields and sports courts. And the city manages over 4 miles of trails, including a 1-mile trail along the waterfront. The city also has 6 waterfront beaches and a fishing pier. And before the pandemic, the city accommodated more than 8,000 users in its recreation programs. In addition, the city has multiple facilities for use or rent, including the Anderson Center, Waterfront Center, and park picnic shelters. The city offers amazing recreation activities and places that enhance the quality of life and livability in Edmonds. This ranges from community events to playgrounds, to open spaces and trails. It also includes Yost Pool, recreation programs, picnic and sports areas, and the underwater scuba park. And we know that COVID-19 has impacted how you use parks and programs, but we are using this time to plan for improvements for the future. Tonight's feedback will add to the information we've gathered from the community survey. And at this stage, we are still collecting ideas from the community. And tonight is about hearing more from you through Zoom polling and Q&A times. Tonight is not a decision-making meeting, but at the end of the meeting, we will share other ways to stay involved.
With this Zoom format, we will use instant polls, and we've set up a practice poll to get you familiar with how it works. To be clear, this is just a practice poll and will not be part of the new pros plan. Let's give it a try. I will read the question and choices, then another window will pop up on your screen with these choices. Make your selection and hit submit. Now the question. What one superpower do you wish you had? Flight, super strength, super speed, or time travel? Here are the same choices in all 4 languages. You will now see the pop-up window. If the poll box covers the portion of the slide you are trying to read, you can drag the poll box to one side of your computer screen. Apologies to our attendees using the phone. We are unable to provide the poll on the phone, but let us know your thoughts during the question and answer sessions. So the poll I see has an overwhelming response for people who want time travel, with flight coming in a distant second. Now that we've done a practice, let's do a real poll. COVID-19 has had an impact on how we recreate. Park usage increased over the past year. What are you excited about doing more of? Exercising, spending time with friends and family outdoors, playing organized sports, activities at the Anderson Center, summer camps, community events and festivals. Here are the same choices in all 4 languages. Like before, you will now see the pop-up window. Make your selection and hit submit. Great, so we have 54% majority of people who would say that spending more time with friends and families outdoors is what they are most excited about doing. Additionally, community events and festivals have a 38%, and playing organized sports comes in third with almost 10%.
So as I mentioned earlier, the city is conducting a community survey right now. It launched in June, and we wanted to share a little about what we've heard from the community so far. In all, over 1,500 survey responses have been collected so far. The survey is still open, so if you haven't already taken the survey, please visit the city's website after tonight's meeting and provide your thoughts. We will put a link in the chat box to the city's website where you can find the survey. So some of the survey highlights: nearly everyone, 99%, feel that parks and recreation are either essential or important to the quality of life in Edmonds. Going to the beach or waterfront and walking or running are the top reasons for visiting city parks. Park and open space visitation is high, with 81% visiting parks and facilities monthly, and about 2/3 visiting weekly. Some of the priorities noted so far include improving existing parks, completing the waterfront walkway and other trail connections, and buying additional open space lands. Some high demand amenities include community events, community gardens, trails, and a pool. TL?
Now another poll. Survey results to date show a strong interest in making improvements to existing parks. Select your top 3 parks where you think the city should focus additional improvements. The choices are Sierra Park, Matthew Ballinger Park, Yost Memorial Park, Pine Street Park, and Marine Beach Park. Here are the choices again, and the pop-up window will appear. Select 3 and hit submit. If you're wondering, these are not translated since they are proper nouns. So the survey says that people would like to see improvements at 73% at Matthew Ballinger Park, 55% at Marina Beach Park, 55% also at Yost Memorial Park, and Sierra Park and Pine Street Park both come in with 18%. We would also like to hear from you. Tell us what parks you visit and how you would like to see them improved. What do you like about the parks? What's missing? Are parks easy to access? What do they need? What could be better? Please use the question and answer feature to type in your thoughts. If you are calling in by phone, press *9 to raise your hand, and when you are acknowledged, press *6 to unmute yourself. I do see a comment in the question and answer section that asks why only these 5 parks were selected for this conversation. Angie, could you maybe cite a little bit about why these 5 parks were used as examples?
Absolutely. So if we listed all of the parks, it would have been challenging to get feedback in this polling format. So we decided to narrow it to 5 parks that have potential improvements planned for them, so we could see the community's priority.
There is a great comment from Natalie that there are not enough parks in the SR 99 corridor. Angie, would you like to say something about our efforts there?
Yes, it's a good observation, and we are aware of that. The pros plan process that we're doing helps us to establish the need for more parks along Highway 99.
Thank you. And there was a suggestion also in the Q&A that says to add a second beach volleyball court at Marina Beach Park. So we will make sure that any of the questions and comments are recorded and documented to take into consideration during the planning process. There's a comment that also says that there isn't much to do for teenagers to do at parks. So I think if we go to the survey that we had put in the chat, there's an opportunity to comment on activities that you would like to see in the parks. If you see more comments about specific parks, mountain biking, people who are interested in more launch sites for kayaks. So again, thank you for all of these comments and feedback. We'll be sure to include them. I think we can, please feel free to continue putting in your comments, but Angie, if we would like to go to the next slide.
Great, absolutely. Thank you for all those comments. We really appreciate those.
So we have another polling question now, and give me 1 second to catch up. We also heard interest in the city acquiring more conservation lands and open space. What types of conservation lands should the city prioritize acquiring? Freshwater creeksides, saltwater beaches and waterfront, wetlands and marshlands, forested uplands, or Lake Ballinger access. As before, you will see a pop-up window. Make your selection and hit submit. Great, thanks for participating in this one. We have 42% of people would like to see saltwater beaches and waterfront for more land and open space. 17% more access for Lake Ballinger, and freshwater creeksides and forested uplands tie for fourth at 8%. Our next polling question, this is the city offers many community events. Survey results showed strong interest in more events. What types of events should the city focus on? Big events such as 4th of July parade and fireworks, Edmonds Classic Car Show, farmers markets, or smaller events such as more intimate events like outdoor movies, Uptown Evening Market, the Hazel Miller Plaza summer concerts. So this by now should look familiar. In the pop-up window, make your selection and hit submit. So smaller, more intimate events such as outdoor movies have an overwhelmingly popularity of 82%. And this is our last polling question. And this relates to childcare program needs. With COVID restrictions being lifted and normal is coming back, does your household have a need for summertime day camps, childcare, and camps during school holidays? Please respond with either yes, no, or not sure. Please use the pop-up window and make your choice. We have a pretty good split here with 38% people saying yes, 46% saying no, and only 15% not sure. So this is great feedback that we can take into consideration during the planning process. Thank you. And so now we're going to ask again for a little bit more input. We would like to hear your ideas. No idea is too big or too small. Please use the question and answer button to type in your thoughts. Again, if you are calling in by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. And then when you are acknowledged, press *6 to unmute yourself. Things to think about. What kinds of activities would you like to see more of? What types of improvements are important to you? Where do you think the city should focus its efforts? Is there an area of the city that needs more parks and recreation services? If you would like to raise your hand, please do so, and we can take your questions verbally. Some of the questions that I'm seeing, or comments that I'm seeing, is that perhaps the average age of our audience is important for some of these questions. We would like to see improvements on the SR9, the 99 corridor. There's a suggestion to purchase the Unicall property when it becomes available and add it to parks. I do see a question about a very specific park, Marina Park. And I want to say that at the end, we'll have some contact information. If you have a question about a specific park, please feel free to email in the email address we will provide on the last slide, and we can have a specific question answered for you.
In addition, if you care to leave your email address with your question, I will respond to that as well.
Thank you, Angie. I meant to say that.
It's okay.
We also see from Natalie, summer camps that serve the Highway 99 community would be very beneficial. This is a service in the bowl, but because it's far away, it doesn't serve the 99 highway corridor. There are more comments about adding services to the Highway 99 area. A suggestion to pass the ordinance that prohibits use of parks for non-park use like roads or stormwater treatment. Continued investment in Yost Pool. It's a treasure location. That's sweet, nice to hear. There's some comment about Hummingbird Park to add some features or make it forested. These are all really good points. And again, we will make sure that they are recorded and taken into consideration during the pros plan process. And again, an email will be supplied at the end if you haven't thought of anything right now and would like to comment afterwards, feel free to email us.
If you have anything else you'd like to share, please put a comment in the question and answer box, or if you're dialing in by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. If there's a question about a specific park, you can put the question along with your email address in the question and answer box, and someone from the Edmonds team will respond directly to you. Also, please consider filling out the survey and share it with your friends, family, and network. We want to hear from as many people as possible to make sure that Edmonds parks and recreation facilities satisfy the needs of everyone. We will hold another community meeting in the fall when we will share what we have learned and as well as the draft plan. Please check the website and keep an eye on social media for the meeting date. Survey links have been posted in the chat for this meeting, and you can actually access the survey directly from those links or use your phone to scan the QR code shown on the screen here. And just in closing, again, the City of Edmonds and myself and my staff really appreciate your time and your thoughts and your efforts to join us this evening for the pros plan.
We do have a lot of time still left from our proposed timing of the meeting. So if you have anything else you would like to put into the question and answers, please feel free to do so. I do appreciate the shout out from Kelly to the Parks team. And there's a question here, Angie, about will more documentation be posted on the PROS webpage? It's all still listed as coming soon.
Yes, we can do some more updates in the next couple of weeks, including some of the information from tonight's work as well as what we've done so far. So in the next 2 weeks, we're hoping to update the website.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. If there are no more park specific questions, I think we can go ahead and call it a short but very important meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to our translators, especially tonight.